This is posturing. This is performance to make it appear as though the city was in flames. They, in fact, said that to create a sense of chaos in our city that never existed.
Mayor Bass, Attorney General Pam Bondi said that our sanctuary policies in Los Angeles were a driving cause of violence, not only in the protests, but created a general lawlessness in Los Angeles. Have you talked to the LAPD about what actual statistics they know about the city of Los Angeles and what percentage of crimes or even violent crimes are committed by people who are in this country illegally?
Over 60% of the people that have been detained had no criminal record at all. I certainly know anecdotally that you cannot say that the immigrant population commits any more crimes than any other sector of our city.
And as you point out as well, with the protesters too, I think there were something on the order of 200 arrests. Is that right? A little over 200 arrests during the perhaps week of the protests?
Well, again, Bondi and all of the other ones in DC insisted on this narrative of riots. And Pat, you and I were there in 1992. We know what a riot is. What you had in Los Angeles, in our city, of 500 square miles, you had about 2 square miles where there were protests that were overwhelmingly peaceful. And at the end of the protest, you had an element that created vandalism, some violence, and then on one night there was looting. I imposed a curfew. The curfew lasted 72 hours. There has not been a problem since then, and we've had protests almost every day, and there has not been a problem. There was never a need for the National Guard in the first place. You might know that the president gave himself major kudos and said that he saved the day. He did this, tweeted on Saturday night. This was June 7th. He tweeted that he saved the day, he stopped the riots, he quelled the violence because he brought out the National Guard. Pat, the National Guard didn't even arrive until the next day. So it was all lies. We did not need them. This is posturing. This is performance to make it appear as though the city was in flames. They, in fact, said that. It was portrayed that way, especially on certain networks on TV, to create a sense of chaos in our city that never existed. And frankly, as I said before, on June 5th, everything was peaceful in the city. We did not have a problem until the raid started. So, in my opinion, it was a provocation from the administration to essentially get us into a conflict with law enforcement so that they would have an excuse for troops. Now, we just talked about the National Guard. We didn't talk about the deployment of the Marines, our soldiers who are trained to fight to kill overseas. That has nothing to do with dealing with crowd control or a civilian situation.
Now, the explanation for the reason for the National Guard is to protect the ICE agents and federal buildings, and that the Marines were supposed to be doing the same. Now, the network cameras have pretty much gone away, but there still are National Guardsmen in Los Angeles. Where are they and what are they doing?
They're in two locations. They're protecting two buildings where absolutely nothing is happening. And they're protecting the federal building downtown and the federal building in Westwood. Actually, excuse me, the last time I drove past the federal building in Westwood, it was the Marines standing out there. And I just feel for our young women and men, especially the ones in the National Guard. Those are people who are going about their daily lives and they could called up for a deployment. They have to leave their families, their work, their school. And in many cases, when they have prolonged deployments, they fall behind in their education. They might lose their jobs and they disrupt their families. To use them as a prop, I think is just unconscionable.
Next week, as you can see, on July 9th, Madeline Brand will be talking with journalist E.J. Dion about progressives and moderates uniting to save our country. We, of course, will invite your questions and your viewership then. And we thank all of you from across the country and around the world who've been able to join us this evening. I'm Pat Morris, and thank you so much.